Good morning students. Today I am going to continue with the topic which is errors and exceptions in Java. So let's start with system defined exception objects in Java. Java provides a large set of exception classes. These classes are bundled in a standard package called java.lang.star. The base class of all inbuilt exception classes in Java is the exception class. The list of commonly used exception classes is shown in the following table. The first in the list is the arithmetic exception. These types of exception occurs due to an arithmetic error such as division by 0. The next in the list of exception classes is the array index out of bounds exception. These types of exception occurs when the array index is out of bounds. The next in the list of exception class is the array store exception. These types of exception occurs when a value has been assigned to an array element that is of an incompatible type. And at the end, there is the negative array size exception class. These types of exception occurs when an array has been created with a negative size. Now the exception that I am going to discuss today is the arithmetic exception. Let me highlight it. Now consider the Java program in this slide. This program consists of a class identified by the name exception demo. Now inside the body of this class, 3 data members have been declared. Those are num1, num2 and num3, having the data type as int. That's why they can accept only integer values. Then soon after declaring the data members num1, num2 and num3, a method called divide has been declared. This method called divide takes 2 arguments, that is n1 and n2. Okay, the method divide takes 2 arguments, n1 and n2, each of type int. So the arguments n1 and n2 can accept only integer values. Now note that this method divide does not return any value. That's why its return type is void. And also this method divide has been set an access specifier which is public. Now that the access specifier set for this method divide is public, that's why this method shall be accessible outside the class exception demo. Now come inside the body of this method called divide. There is a try block, and inside the body of this try block there is one statement, and soon after the try block there is a catch block, and inside the body of this catch block there is one statement. Now every statement inside the try block shall be checked for errors, and in case if any error has been detected in the statement inside the try block, the same error shall be handled in the next block, which is the catch block. Let me highlight this catch block. Now just after the try and the catch block, the body of this method called divide ends, and soon after the body of this method called divide ends, the body of the main method starts, and the main method is identified by public static void main. Now you have to note one thing, that the method main is the starting method or the point of execution of the Java program. As a result, the starting point of execution of this class called exception demo will be the main method. Now come inside the body of this main method. At first, an object specified by the name D has been created from the class called exception demo with the help of this new keyword. Now as soon as this object D has been created from the class called exception demo, the constructor of this class exception demo shall get invoked. Now that this class exception demo does not contain any constructors, that's why as soon as this object D of this class exception demo gets created, no constructors for this class exception demo shall get invoked. And the reason this class exception demo does not contain any constructor is that if you see the first method, that is divide, its name does not resemble the name of this class, that is exception demo. So no constructor gets invoked as soon as the object D gets created for the class called exception demo. Then come to the next line. With the help of this object D, it is now calling the method divide with the arguments 10 and 0. And at the time of calling this method called divide, there is no body associated with this method. That's why this type of method is called as the calling method, and I have commented on it. Now the control will shift from this calling method without the body part to the call method, which is along with the body part as represented by the opening brace and the closing brace. Now note one thing, that the names of the calling method and the call method should be identical. That's why in this case the name of the calling method is divide, as well as the name of the call method is also divide. Now as the calling method divide consists of the arguments 10 and 0, when the control shifts from this calling method into the call method, then the arguments 10 and 0 gets copied into N1 and N2. As a result, for the call method divide, N1 will get the value 10, and again N2 will get the value 0. So let me represent the value of N2 as 0 like this. Then come inside the body of this call method. The first statement says num1 is equal to N1. Now that the value of N1 is 10, so we supply the value 10 to num1 through N1. Again, since the value of N2 is 0, that's why we supply the value 0 to num2 through N2. As a result, the data member num1 has been assigned the value 10 through N1, and the data member num2 has been assigned the value 0 through N2, coming out of the arguments N1 and N2. Then come to the next line, we have the try block. Now inside the body of this try block, there is one statement which is represented as num3 is equal to N1 divided by num2 followed by semicolon. And when num3 equals N1 divided by num2 with the value of N1 being 10, let me represent it here, and the value of num2 being 0, so with this num3 becomes 10 divided by 0 when N1 gets divided by num2. Now I have already explained you in one of my previous presentation that when any number gets divided by 0, it produces an arithmetic exception called division by 0 not possible. That's why this statement inside this try block will generate an arithmetic exception, which is division by 0. In this statement, the value of num3, which is 10 divided by 0, produces that arithmetic exception called division by 0 not possible, and that exception shall be caught in this catch block. The catch takes an argument e of type arithmetic exception. In this case, the argument e is an object of the class called arithmetic exception. And inside the body of this catch block, there is one statement which prints the message with the help of e.getMessage. Then along with that, it has added a text that is not possible within inverted quote. So here, with the help of the object e belonging to the class arithmetic exception, it is calling the method getMessage. Now, as the object e of the class called arithmetic exception calls the method getMessage, then the text division by 0 gets returned. So with the help of the statement system.out.println, it prints division by 0 is not possible as the output. That's why under the output you can see slash by 0 is not possible. Now note that slash here denotes division. So slash by 0 is not possible means the same thing as division by 0 is not possible. As a result, the exception that has been encountered in the statement inside the try block has been handled in the catch block, which then prints the message division by 0 is not possible using the statement system.out.println, then within bracket e.getMessage, where e.getMessage returns division by 0 plus it has added the text is not possible. So that's what is shown in the output, that is division by 0 is not possible. And once the statement inside the catch block handles the error by displaying the error message in front of the user, then the body of this call method divide ends, and then the control will again shift to the calling method, and then it closes the main method. As a result, it closes the body of this class called exception demo. So as a result, upon the execution of this Java program, an error or an exception has been detected in the statement inside the try block, and this exception has been handled in the catch block, which then prints the error message in front of the user as division by 0 is not possible. So with this, I end my presentation here, and that's all for today.